What's up, guys? This is Andy here, BC Builds. I just wanted to make a video. Someone asked me a question on, I think it was through Facebook, sent me a message, how I tune my liners. And that's kind of a vague question, because I do have liners that I can use for everything. But I feel, I have, I think over 100, just around 150 tattoo machines, and a good amount of them being liners, I think 40 or so, and having them all set the same way, I feel that's just counterproductive. Having everything do the exact same thing, I don't need that many. I'd have them anyways because I collect them, but I like them all to serve their own little purpose. Now, given there's people out there, I'm not saying it's wrong to have everything set the same, but I like having machines that are set to a specific task. Just makes my life a little easier. Trying to push a giant needle grouping with a less powerful machine just because it's your go-to machine just is a pain in the ass. Basically, I tune my liners to basically needle grouping size and the type of skin. So I arrange them in basically by power and speed. These I'm just showing machines that I actually assembled, retuned, or built. Everyone here, I didn't build them, not all of them. I retuned them since I've got them and done a few mods. A lot of my professional machines I haven't really touched. Not saying these aren't good machines, but these are all machines that I've tinkered with, so I know the ins and outs, and I, tune them to specific purposes. Starting at the left, the least powerful, to the right, to the most powerful. Like this. This is here. You can obviously, it's short coils. It's got 18 gauge light springs and a very light armature bar. These are 8-wrap shorty coils. This machine, it still runs fast. It's got a big capacitor on it, but it still runs fast. Obviously, the 18s are pretty stiff still, and it's a very light armature bar. This thing zips. It's probably around 137 cycles per second, but it's still punchy enough to get it in there, but it's a lot softer of a hit. I would use this basically just for single needle work, and sometimes 1 and 3s with this, because you don't need a seriously powerful machine to push 1 and 3s. They're so small and so sharp, and zero pressure will push them in. But as fast as this is, it still needs a little power, so I put a bigger capacitor on it. You guys have seen this machine. This was my go-to liner for the longest point. I had regular 8-wrap coils on it, and then I eventually wrapped these and put these on. Nothing too special. Frame kind of got a little burnt, a little carried away when we were drinking, playing with fucking welding equipment. And then this machine. This machine zips fast. It's, well, not seriously fast, it's normal. It's about 136, 37 cycles per second. But this has also got it's a good bit more powerful than this, but it's got a nice soft tip. I basically retuned this machine just for my buddy Ian. He's a big kid, he's pretty much all muscle, but he's got this most sensitive skin I've ever come across in my entire life, and a normal set liner would tear him up. So I have this so it still runs fast, so I don't have to really adjust my hand speed, but it's got a very, very smooth, soft hit to it. This makes it almost impossible to tear his skin up, because I used a rotary on him, and it wasn't too bad, but there's a few little divots I put in him, on his bicep, just because it's that thin of skin. It's just, that's something you have to learn tattooing. You just got to be able to feel the skin. So this, I use this with 5s and 7s. This is my go-to machine if it's a 5. Not saying this can only push thin skin. This can push probably most anything. It just goes in so smooth it causes very little trauma with a 5 and a 7. This machine here, which you guys have seen, is not extremely powerful, but it's powerful, and but it's quick. This runs at about 145 to 150 cycles per second, but it's powerful, but it's not extremely powerful. It's got small coils on it, so for the size, it's really powerful. This is a really good machine for pushing 7s. I can push 5s to 9s with this with no problems, and I probably could push an 11. But this I can use for almost all skin types if I really wanted to. Thinner skin types, it might have a little problem, but this is good for, if I'm using a 7, I would use this, most likely. And then this, the newest one, which I got to use today, the frame was sent to me by Elliot Nunez, follower. It had different coils on it. I changed it out. This is another set of Ringmaster coils. These are I think 10 wraps stilted. They had the orange wire, but they were supposed to get, I think, red and or pink, and they sent me the orange, which just really looked stupid. So I rewrapped them. Um, Sorry, I had to burp. Excuse me. Anyways, I set this to be an extremely fast machine. It just worked out like that. This runs at about 153 cycles per second, and it's extremely powerful. Does not mean I can't use it on smaller needle groupings. I can just leave the voltage down. So this is really a well-rounded machine. With these big coils on here, I'm able to push, up to a 13 tight without a problem and still run fast. For certain tattoos, I want to run a little faster. Stuff I do a lot, just get it out of the way. This run fast and it runs hard, but I could run it at 7 volts and run 5 to 7s with no problem. Awesome machine, but it's fast. It runs 7 volts loaded. I think with I think it was like a 7 round in it. It was at 126 cycles per second at 7 volts. And then to this, which you guys have seen before, which I retuned a little bit, and I milled out the bar, which I told you guys. This is a Kylin tattoo machine out of China, cast frame. I'm not sure what size capacitor. I think it's a 47 UF on there, which is another bigger one. And it's got 8 rat coils, but it's got gigantic cores in here and big T-tops and a bigger armature bar, which was light, and stiff springs. This thing runs fast. It runs at 140 cycles per second, but this thing is an absolute monster. This thing is a fucking beast. I'm scared to run anything under a 7 with this, even a 7 sketchy. It's just extremely powerful. This is probably one of the most powerful machines I have, not even just liner wise, all coil machines. This thing is just immensely fucking powerful, and I didn't have to do anything to make it powerful. I actually took some weight off to make it a little faster and a little less powerful. This is what I would use for bigger needle groupings. I would use this for a 9 and up, and just for shits and giggles, we put 100 round in this today. We had a couple of those laying in the shop to see if it would push it, and this pushed 100 round to 8.3 volts without a problem. Given I had to go a little slower, and obviously it's 100 round, which I've only seen 3 of those needles in my entire lifetime. I didn't know they existed until 2 months ago. I did it at my buddy's leg just to color in some spots, it's like the thickness of a fucking pencil. It's insane, but it still runs fast, 140 cycles per second, but it's got twice the power of any of my other liner machines. So you can see I have a liner for every task, and I have more. I have doubles of these speeds, and I have probably about 35 more of these. Yeah, anyways, and as for how I tune my machines, most of my power supplies now, I have about 5 of them, have the digital readouts on there, which do help, but I don't really rely on that. Ooh, the O-ring's coming off. Ooh, the O-ring snapped. It's good to know now. It's good to know the readouts, but really, I don't even do it so much by ear, I do it by feel. And you can just tell, when I look at a frame and all its components, I can tell what it will be well suited for. Not just by the frame geometry, but all the parts on it. The size of the springs, the length, the armature bar, the coils, the capacitor, and the geometry of the frame. I've retuned and built so many machines at this point. I'm pretty good at just looking at a machine at this point and telling you what it would be suited for, and instead of trying to force it to do something that it wasn't meant to do, I buy machines and, that are kind of meant to do what I want them to do. I think this was supposed to be a shader frame, but I built it, the geometry, I didn't do it very well. The coil, or the contact post is out front, but it works well for what it does, and all these other machines, when I bought them, I looked, you could just tell by the parts that were on them what they would be suited for. Like this, it's a short stroke liner, it's a cutback, really fast speed. You're not going to get it's got a decent stroke on it, don't get me wrong, it's bigger than a dime when it's running, but I'm not going to get a huge nickel and a half stroke out of this, Let's drop him and fucking break it. The same with anything. I like a longer stroke on my rotaries, but on all my coil machines, I don't. I've been working off the tip long enough that I don't need that extra stroke length to make sure I don't get hung up. I feel it's just a pain in the ass to make a longer stroke liner and get it to the same speed and power as I want. Anyways, that's it, guys. Not that this is, very informative. It was just, someone asked me, this is how I set up my liners. Not all of them do the same thing. I do have multiples that run exactly the same, but when I'm getting a new machine, I'd like to have at least a variety of machines. Instead of, like if I had this machine, trying to push a big fucking needle with this is just impossible. Or using this monster powerful machine to try to fucking, push a single needle, I would have to crank that thing down to like 4 volts, so it wouldn't hit too fucking, hit too hard, but it would be way too slow. So it's good to have machines that are suited for the task ahead of you. And they're also good for different styles of artwork. Where is it? This, when I do Japanese waves, I kind of freehand it on with a marker, but it rubs away. So I like to get a nice, consistent, smooth speed. I pretty much do them freehand, all the detail work, and that's what I use this for. It keeps me, it's a fast liner, but it's not too fast. It keeps me from going too fast. It allows me to think and actually make it look nice while I'm freehanding it. If I was using this one, which is extremely fast, trying to freehand something without any marker or stencil there, I'd be moving too fast to make a good judgment on where to place that wave. Anyways, hope this answered your question. Sorry, man, I forgot your name. And anybody else that was wondering that. And the same thing goes for my shaders and my color packers. I don't have one color packer that does everything. I use a mixture between rotaries, and it depends on the needle size and the skin. And the same with my gray wash shaders. I do have one, my purple, which I use for everything. I didn't bring it down because I don't have it here. I brought it to work. I've been using the shit out of it. I use that for all skin types. It's a really versatile shader. But I have other shaders just like this. They're all a variety of speeds and powers, and the same with the color packers and the rotaries. So it's nice. If you guys have the luxury to buy enough machines, like I've been fortunate enough to do. I'm an idiot for spending all this money. Tune them to different aspects. It takes a while to learn what you need for a certain task, but once you get that far, you only really need 3 machines, a liner, a shader, a color packer, and you can make it work on any tattoo. But having a variety of tools to work from is, it just makes your life easier. Like a mechanic, a mechanic can fix anything with basic tools, but now they got all these high-tech computers, hydraulic lifts. Those, you don't need that shit, but that's just shit to make your life easier. It's the same concept here. You have better tools suited for a certain task. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Alright, that's it, guys. I'm out. I got to get out of here. I got shit to do. Actually, I have to go back in. So, see you later.